Already planned out your video content for the year, or at least for the first quarter of this year? If you have not, today's live stream is for you. I want to share with you what I'm doing in planning out my 2024 video content planner. If you have ever found yourself at a loss on what videos that you would want to create, or maybe perhaps you've experienced a tremendous amount of stress and just freaking out moments when it comes to what content am I going to create? I need to upload something this week, or I need to go live today or tomorrow. And you're just scrambling, trying to figure out what you want to do. Or perhaps you may be watching what others in your niche are doing, other creators, and you're like, well, how are you just churning out this content so effortlessly? If that is one of, or if any one of those three are experiences that you've ever had, trust me, you're not alone, because I've been there too. And I'm sure a lot of people that are going to be watching this live stream have been there as well. And today we're going to talk about that. And I'm just going to share with you some of the revelations that I realized in what I was doing wrong and perhaps what you're doing wrong, and some thoughts on how you can improve that. So I have some notes here so that I don't forget, because when I do these live streams, this is part of what I'm talking about today with planning, I don't plan them out in the sense that I give notice. I put up posts saying that I'm going to go live on Tuesday at whatever time, or Wednesday, whatever day it is. I just do it almost spur of the moment. I decide that I'm going to go live, and then I know exactly what I want to talk about, and I'm going to go live. So I know in advance I want to go live every week. I want to go live on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and I want to go live anywhere between 12 and 1 p.m. based on what my schedule is. So that's what I do. And so I want to share with you how I go about doing that. So in the past, what used to happen to me is I didn't prepare. I didn't plan, which is the key to being able to successfully create content on a regular basis. But more importantly, more than just not planning, the key component that was missing for me, and anybody that's popping in, please let me know if you're here. Please let me know if you have any questions. Post them in the comments. I will try to get to them during the live stream. If not, I will definitely comment on them afterwards. But I really just want to get through the content, because I don't want to have this be a really long video. So what I started to do was, I knew I needed to plan out my content. So I wasn't planning my content out efficiently. Then the next thing was, okay, what am I going to talk about? Okay, I know that I want to do something on a weekly basis, or my YouTube channel. I used to do weekly videos. Now I do them pretty much like maybe once a month or so. That is a little bit different in terms of the planning that I go through with that. But for my live streams can be much more current and up to date information, and I can do them a lot faster because I don't have to edit the videos. So I was like, well, what is it that's missing for me? And what I realized a few years ago was that I did not have a framework to work from. So I created the Embrace YouTube Video Framework so that I understood what content I needed to share with my audience, because that was the same content that I needed them to learn in order for them to understand how they could use video for their businesses as a marketing tool. And so for me, I came up with 3 key pillars. Now, I've seen these pillars as many as 6 some people have had, and people tend to have usually between 3 and 4. I have 3 key pillars in my framework, and they cover clarity, content, and channel. So clarity is obviously about being very clear on what you're going to do before you actually hit the record button. Content is all about creating that content, and the channel is all about YouTube and what you need to do on and off of the channel in order for you to market your services or your business, whatever it is that you're using it for. Within each pillar, there are action steps or categories that define what I'm going to do and talk about within each pillar. So that's the first thing that I would recommend that you do. Some of you on this, whether you're watching the replay or watching this live, probably already have that in your business. And literally all you need to do is transplant that or transpose that for your content for your videos. And for those of you who don't already have it, I highly recommend that you really sit down and analyze your niche, your business, and your target audience and come up with what are the key pillars that you are most knowledgeable about, that you have an expertise in, that you can communicate to your audience, and then set that out with the action steps or categories beneath that. And that's the skeleton framework of what you need to use in order to plan out your video content for the year. So first I want to cover like what are the benefits of having video content planned out for the year. Well, number one, you can finally become consistent. That is what has happened with me. I started this sometime last year. And the one area that I was weakest at was live streaming. And I first started in October. I gave myself a challenge for Halloween to go live, I think every day for a week until Halloween. And that was because live streaming was sort of off the cuff. You needed to be concerned. Well, I thought you needed to be concerned about making mistakes and things of that nature. There was no editing, there was no polishing it up. And so for me, that was always a barrier. Even though I was comfortable with video, I wasn't comfortable with live streaming. So ever since then, I've tried to be as consistent as possible. And this year for 2024, my goal was to and is to go live every single week. And I didn't want to have the added stress initially, anyway, of knowing, okay, I have to go live on Tuesday at 12 noon, do or die. So I've just decided I'm giving myself a fluid period between Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but the time frame is still going to be between 12 and 1 o'clock on those days. I'm going to go live. The next iteration, which I probably will give myself for maybe next quarter or the quarter after, is to actually commit to advance notice of this. So I'm going to let my email list know. I'm going to mark it on social media that I'm always going to be going live at whatever day and time it is that I ultimately end up deciding to do. So it creates consistency. It also is a time saver, and it's a time saver because you already know, like I knew today that I was going to talk about content planning because it was already established and on my calendar from probably the end of December. So the end of December, I planned out, actually it was slightly before that, I planned out roughly what I wanted to talk about for the first quarter. And then for the first month, I itemized within that month of that topic, that general topic, which was basically video preparation for 2024, all of the content that I wanted to talk about within the first weeks of the year. So that saved me a tremendous amount of time because now I don't need to stress about it. I know that it's something that I'm going to be doing every single week, and I know exactly what I'm going to be talking about. The only thing that I may need to do is tweak exactly what I'm going to say in each live stream. But the joy of live streaming, for me anyway, is that you can have a bullet point, which is what I have right now in front of me. I have my notepad opened on my computer, and I just have all of the bullet points of what I want to talk about, because if I don't have this, I'm going to just ramble. And so time is definitely a saver that it's going to create. The other thing is that it really forces you to think about what you're going to talk about. So therefore, the quality of the content that you're coming out with for your live streams or for your pre-recorded long form videos for YouTube is going to be a higher quality content, and therefore is going to attract ideally a better audience, or the audience is going to pay attention for a longer period of time to what you are saying. So again, a reminder to anyone that's on, if you have any questions, feel free to post them. Just let me know that you're here, that you're enjoying this, that this is something that you want to know more about, so that I can keep coming in and doing these short. I'm hoping it's at the 10:15 mark. I want to cap this at about 20 or 25 minutes. So anyway, so then the next thing outside of just it being strategic, because you're going to be able to create good content for your audience, is to come up with an overall idea of what kind of content you want to create. So obviously you have your framework that you're working from. So that's number one. But the other thing is, are there any things, and I'm going to say seasonal, but I don't mean holiday related. It could be depending on the type of business that you have. So everybody's business is different. So if you're a product-based business, then seasons are going to be of importance to you. But if you're not and you're a service-based business like myself, then seasons may not be as important, but you can still sort of weave those in as well. So looking at your calendar for the year, you can figure out, do I want to do anything special for Thanksgiving or for the Black Friday, Cyber Sunday, or sorry, Cyber Monday types of things? Is there anything that happens particularly during the summer that I may want to do? Otherwise, you then need to look at your business. And that comes to the next point, which is aligning your content on your calendar with milestones and trends that are happening within your business and within your niche. So what do I mean by this? So let's say, for example, I was talking to somebody the other day and they were saying that they were planning on coming out with a course in June. So let's say that that's me. I would know, I'm sitting here in January. I would know that in June, I want to have this course ready for release. So between now and probably April, I would start trying to figure out what content do I need to start coming out with for the months of April, May, and June, so that I can then start to tease out and promote this new course that I'm coming out with. So it could be based on what the modules of that course is about. So each week or month, depending on how many modules you have, you could just tease some information, and the call to action would be stay tuned for this new course eventually as you get closer to it. That's going to be released in June. So you can do something like that, or it could be a milestone that relates to how long you've been in business. So if it's your 10th anniversary or your 5th or 15th anniversary, depending on how long you've been in business, you can certainly create content to memorialize that, as well as you could do it if it's your birthday. So you can do things like that, or you can try and keep an eye on what is trending. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to jump on the bandwagon and do all things that happen to be trending, because it really is going to be dependent on your business, your target audience, and what you're comfortable doing. So I'm not a dancer, so I'm not going to come up here and do some sort of TikTok dance that happens to be the latest trend just because it's a trend. I'm going to do things that are related to my niche, to my target audience, that makes sense. So what would that be? So the only thing that I was trying to struggle and think of what was an example that I've done last year, the beginning of last year, was sort of the onslaught of, or no, I shouldn't say it was an onslaught at that point, but it started to get everybody was talking about AI. It was like really obsessive. A lot of people were talking about it. And a lot of people were talking about what the impact of AI could be on various businesses. People were saying, oh, we're going to lose businesses and people are going to lose jobs and things of that nature. So in honor of that trend, I did a live stream where I decided to do a panel discussion where I invited, a really good friend of mine that's a social media expert, another really good friend of mine that does websites, another awesome friend that does, she's a ghostwriter. And then I brought in another video expert that I had recently met that I knew was obsessed with AI and all things video creation as well. And we did this panel discussion. And then we actually invited one of my sponsors in Big View in order to sort of tap into having that conversation. And it was a very, very informative and lively conversation. So you can do trends that are more niche to what you talk about and to what your audience is going to be interested in. It doesn't have to be a trend that the general public is like hot and happening for. So really be conscious of what makes sense for your audience and also what is comfortable for you to deliver at the same time. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is, okay, you now know that you need to have some sort of a framework if you have one already. You know you need to have your content pillars or buckets so that you know what kinds of information you want to talk about. Well, how do you put all of that into action? And so I'm going to share my screen with you. And so on this screen is some of the tools that I use. And so I know that one of the headaches for me, even though I knew what my framework was, I knew exactly what I needed to talk about, and I could talk anybody's ear off when I was speaking to them. The area that was toughest for me was translating that into biteable bits of information that people could learn, whether it was on social media, whether it was in a live stream like this, or whether it was in some kind of a social media post. And so with AI introduced me to the ability to quickly and effortlessly come up with the ideas, and then I would go in and tweak them to customize them based on how I speak and just on the topics that I wanted to talk about. So one of the tools that I use that I love is Jasper AI. Jasper's been around for quite a while. It is a platform that actually is built on OpenAI, which is the same as ChatGPT. It has a chat feature within it as well. What I liked and like about Jasper is that Jasper is now, whether people are pro AI or not, it's grabbing a lot of your information about you so that the outputs can sound more realistic and more like something that you would say. So it asks you for information on blog posts that you've written, on information about your website and links and things of that nature, so that when it does create when you put in a prompt and it creates a result, it sounds a little bit more like what you would say, but I still go in and tweak things because I don't like to use them cookie cutter as they just come out. So for this particular example, for what I'm doing today, I decided I needed to, I want to do some email video tips that I want to do for the year. And I was like, oh God, I don't feel like sitting down and trying to manually write all that stuff up. Let me just feed in my information to Jasper. So Jasper has all of my information on my framework. It has all of my information on my digital course. It has blog posts. It has my website. It has like a lot of information on me. So I asked it to essentially create a comprehensive list of video tips based on my framework for creating compelling and engaging videos. And I wanted the list to basically be for the entire year. So I wanted to have 52 items that it listed out, and it did that. So it broke down my framework. So for the first 13 weeks, it's all about gaining clarity. And these are all of my tips. Now, these are just one line, one sentence. So this isn't what I'm going to be emailing. I'm then going to flesh out what I want to talk about under each, but I don't want them to be super long. I want them to probably just provide examples in them. I just wanted to have it written for me. And so this Jasper and ChatGPT act like an assistant. So it's like me telling my VA, oh, can you just come up with a list of fill in the blank? And so the second batch is on generating your content. The third batch is on growing your audience or channel, which I told you what my 3 frameworks were. And then the last one is refining and expanding. And so I have my 52 ideas that I needed for this. You can use ChatGPT as well if you want. I don't know if yes, I did use it for the same thing here. ChatGPT, unlike Jasper, ChatGPT has a free version. The 3.5 is free. The 4.0 is $20 a month. So you can do the same thing. It didn't, it's a slightly different platform, so it's going to look a little bit differently. So this broke it down because it did not have my framework already built into its memory. It basically could only break it down based on the typical video categories of pre-production, production, and post-production. So that's basically what it did here. So I just wanted to share with you, those are the two tools that I use to brainstorm my ideas. So if you are completely at a loss and you don't know what to talk about, this is a tool that if you plug in your framework, you need to give it something, because it's only as good, the output's only going to be as good as what you put in. So if you give it constructive directions that can follow your guide and put in as much information as you need, then it can spit out things that can certainly help you. The other thing that I then do is I use Trello as my project management tool. So I use Trello because I've been using it for a really long time. In comparison to the other ones that I compared it to, I preferred it. But if you are someone that uses Monday or ClickUp, I think is another one, or Asana or whatever you need to use, that is something that I choose to use because it is a place where I can house all of my information and then sort of guide me through the step-by-step stages that I have to put everything in. So I use this particular board just for everything video. So all of my video content ideas get dumped here. And then from here, they then go into the buckets that I have. So I told you about the 3 buckets that I have. And then from there, I also use this to house all of my live streams. And so for my live streams, and I'll open this up so you can see that. I have my topics, I shouldn't say for the month, it's more for the week, but whatever. So this one I did last week. This is the one that I'm doing today. So because it's actually due, I can click that. So that's now, I know that that's been done. You can see the next one's going to be on diversifying content formats, and the other one is on content improvement objectives. But I had a lot of choices for January. And those are the ones that I've chosen. I may squeak in some other ones, I don't know, but that's what I do to use it so that I can keep track, and it just keeps me on point of making sure that I keep up to date with everything. Now, the other thing that I use Trello for is once I have I've done my brain dump, I've done I have an idea of what it is that I want to talk about based on that month's goal of what it is that I want to talk about. So for each month, I'll decide what I want to talk about. That's the themes. I don't have that in here because I actually am still a paper and pen type person. So I do have, is it here? No, it's here. I had bought a content calendar some years back from an organization called Content Creators Planner, and I still use that. And so every month, I'll just show you, you're not going to really be able to see it, but every month I write down what my goals for the months are, what my content topics are going to be, what my calls to action are going to be, and what my end goal is for the month. And so for the next 3 months, I know what the overall topic is that I want to talk about. And then I go in and break it down based on how many weeks there are, what I'm going to talk about in my live streams each week. So that's how I do it, but you can figure out what makes sense for you. The other thing that I'll do is if I know that I want to create a video for YouTube, I will then take that video and from whatever content bucket it is, whether it's clarity content or my audience, and I will, sorry, my phone was ringing. Sorry about that. And so I will take that content and move it over to my research titles and create thumbnails list. So here, I'm just going to make sure that the title of whatever that topic is a title that my ideal audience is interested in, number one. And number two, is optimized so that they can find it based on the title. I then, before I film, this is something new that I've started late last year, is I then create my thumbnail. And I create my thumbnail because I want my thumbnail and my title to resonate with each other. I want it to create an opportunity for the person to click on it. And then once I have that, that's when I'll then script out the video, and that's going to be based on the title and on the thumbnail. I'll then create the script of my video, and then from there, I will get the video edited and then publish it onto YouTube. But like I said, my long form videos, I'm going to get back into a routine. I actually have, which I'll talk to you a little bit later about, a group coaching and accountability sessions that I'm doing. I started them this month, and with that, I'm going to use that as the motivation to get me back on track to do 1 to 2 videos consistently every month that are custom for YouTube, that are not these live streams. And these live streams, I am repurposing as well. So I'm repurposing them to my email list as well as to my social media platforms. And then I wanted to share with you on my Google that I actually have, let me go back to where it is. So these live streams, because they have dates associated with them, they actually sync with my Google Calendar. So even if I don't have Trello open, I can see them on my calendar. So this was last week. I actually went live at 1:18. I was a little late last week. And then this is for this week. And then I have next week and the week after. So that I've done just so that even if I don't have Trello open, I know the second, and I always have my week open at a time, 1 week at a time. So Monday, I know on Wednesday at 1:00, I have a live stream. So I better be on it. So those are the tools that I'm using. I'm going to see right now if there are any comments or questions. Let's see. I don't see any comments, but if anybody has any comments, I don't have every single platform. Well, not every single, it's only on LinkedIn and YouTube. So I don't have both of those open at the moment. But if you do have any questions or comments, please post them and I will get back to you. I want to know whether you're on replay or you're here live. And I appreciate you regardless of whether you're here live or on replay. I want to get your input on what you're doing for your content planning. So what are your calendar ideas and what tools are you using? If you can post them in the comments, whether it's on LinkedIn or if you are on YouTube, and use the hashtag #myvidplan so that I know that you are replying to this particular comment, I would greatly appreciate it. So once again, I'm going to wrap things up because we're at 28 minutes and I'm a little bit longer than I wanted to go. We talked about planning out your content calendar because it creates consistency, it saves you time, it reduces stress, and allows you to improve the kind of content that you're putting out. You can really formulate what content ideas that you want to institute, especially if they are going to be aligned to the trends and milestones that are related to your business or any events that you have coming up for your business. And once again, please post in the comments using the hashtag #myvidplan what your video content plans are and what your calendar looks like, what tools you're using. If you have any questions in regards to this, I'd greatly appreciate it. And so if you would love to get some help with accountability of creating a plan and sticking with that plan, then you might want to join me for my Embrace YouTube video group coaching and accountability. We have a cohort that has started already, and we have another one that's going to start in March. And I would love to invite you to participate in that. You can click on the link where it says Edie Clark the course to learn more. I want to keep the cohort small so that everyone can get the attention that they need. So I've actually closed out this current cohort, and I have another one that's starting up in March. So if you want to join that, please definitely click on the link and get some more information on that. And I have a question. Your way of speaking in the videos is so clear and easy for me to understand, even though Spanish is my native language. Thanks for, oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And just so that everybody knows too, it's really great when you're able to hear the feedback from your audience, because we're sitting here watching a camera. And so I want for you to feel like I'm speaking to you. And I appreciate the fact that you appreciate the way that I speak and what I'm saying. I truly am honored to be here every week sharing this information. And if anybody ever has any questions, feel free to post them. And I will always try to get back to you as soon as I can. And just let me know how I can help you. So I appreciate that, Dee Dee. Thank you very much. I used to study Spanish. I was really good at it. And then I stopped in high school, and I wish that I had continued because I only speak one language, unfortunately. So kudos to you for being able to speak and understand two languages. And I'm sure you probably know more than two. But anyway, thank you all so much. I appreciate this. I didn't want to go this long. I do want to keep these as short as possible so that you can just get as much information as possible without being bored to tears. But I thank you for being here live as well as on the replay. So until next time, see you later.